I thought school field trips were supposed to be fun. But the girl we saw on that broken bridge, she died 3 years before we got there. When I was in junior year, our school took us on a field trip to North Pine Ridge State Park, a place known for its beautiful hiking trails and towering wooden bridges that stretched across deep ravines. From brochures, it looked peaceful, sunlight cutting through the trees, wide walking paths, calm streams. Nothing about it suggested horror. Nothing prepared us for what actually happened. We arrived around 10 a.m., the weather cool and cloudy. When our bus doors opened, the smell of damp pine rushed inside. A park ranger stood at the entrance and welcomed us. He was middle-aged, with a trimmed beard and a ranger hat that looked too big for his head. He pointed toward the tallest bridge, an old wooden overlook structure that arched above a steep, rocky ravine. "That bridge is closed," he said firmly. Yellow caution tape wrapped around both ends. "It's unstable. Do not approach it. Stay away from it at all times." We nodded, though a few kids took pictures of the dramatic-looking structure. The bridge looked ancient, like it had seen decades of storms and weight. Some of the wooden planks were cracked. A few boards were missing entirely. The morning went normally. We hiked, visited a visitor center, had lunch on wooden tables. Everything was fine until Mia, one of my closest friends, suddenly grabbed my sleeve after lunch and whispered, "Do you see someone on the closed bridge?" I thought she was joking. But when I followed her gaze, my heart dropped. A girl stood on the bridge. She looked no older than us, maybe 16 or 17. Long black hair, pale skin, barefoot, wearing a white shirt and jeans. But what disturbed me was how still she was. She stood facing the ravine, both hands on the rails, her head slightly tilted down as if watching something move far below. Nobody else seemed to notice her yet. Only our small group saw her. Mia whispered, "Why is she on the closed bridge? Didn't the ranger?" Before she could finish, the girl's head started turning, slowly, unnaturally slow, toward us. The motion looked stiff, as if her neck were resisting. She wasn't looking at the group. She was looking directly at me. I took a step backward. "Mia," I whispered, "she's staring at us." We called one of the teachers, who hurried over. But when the teacher looked toward the bridge, the girl suddenly turned away again and stepped deeper onto the structure. One step. Creak. Another. The sound echoed across the ravine. The teacher shouted, "Hey! You can't be on there." The girl took a third step. Crack. A plank snapped clean in half beneath her. We screamed. But what happened next wasn't possible. She didn't fall. Instead, her entire body faded, like a disappearing projection. 1 second she was there, and the next she dissolved into the air, leaving nothing but the broken plank dangling. The teacher panicked and waved down the ranger, who rushed over. When we told him what we saw, he went absolutely pale. His hands actually trembled. He asked, "Did she have long black hair? Bare feet?" We nodded. He swallowed hard. 3 years ago, a teenage girl fell through that exact spot. She was looking down the ravine when it broke beneath her. We hadn't described what she was doing. Then the part that truly terrified me. "She used to come here with her family," he continued. "The day she died, witnesses said she kept warning her younger brother not to get too close to the edge." He stared at us. "People say her spirit still tries to warn others." The teachers didn't care about finishing the trip anymore. They rushed us back to the bus immediately. While walking back, I made the mistake of looking one last time toward the bridge. And there she was again. Not on the middle of the bridge this time, but standing behind the caution tape. Closer. Watching me. Her neck bent slightly too far to the side, like it had been broken. And as our bus pulled away, I could swear her lips moved. Not a smile. Not a word. But something like a warning we couldn't hear. To this day, every time I see an overlooked bridge, I feel that same heavy, silent stare. Like she's still trying to warn me. Or like she's waiting for the day I ignore the warning. Some warnings don't save you. Some warnings follow you. If I knew the top floor of that library had something living in it, something that freezes the second an adult talks, I never would have stepped inside. Because what I saw up there still knows my face. When I was in 6th grade, my class went on a field trip to one of the oldest libraries in the city, the kind of place that looks beautiful from far away but feels unsettling the moment you step inside. The building was huge, made of dark brick, with stone steps worn down in the middle, like thousands of feet had dragged across them over the years. Inside, it was colder than it should have been. The ceiling stretched so high that our voices echoed even when we whispered. 3 floors, massive chandeliers, old portraits staring down at us. The whole place felt like it belonged in a different century. Our teacher repeatedly told us, "Stay together. No wandering." But I was the quiet kid. The kid nobody paid attention to. So slipping away wasn't hard. The top floor was blocked off with velvet ropes and a wooden sign that read, "Archives closed, do not enter." Which, of course, made me want to enter more than anything else. While everyone followed the tour guide toward the children's room, I pretended to fix my shoelace, waited for the right moment, and slipped toward the staircase going up. The second my foot reached the top floor, the air changed. Heavier. So, like the whole level had been sealed away from the world for decades. The lights up there didn't fully turn on, just flickered, humming like they were struggling to stay alive. Shelves were taller, older, covered in dust thick enough to write your name in. Plastic-wrapped books and yellowed folders were stacked everywhere. I wasn't scared, not yet. Then I heard it. A dragging sound. Slow, uneven, like something was being pulled across the carpet. I followed the noise with my eyes and froze. At the far end of the aisle, a man was kneeling on the floor, his back turned to me. He wore clothes that looked like they belonged in a thrift store from the 80s, dusty, faded, stiff. A metal cart stood beside him, stacked with old books. I thought he was just a worker, until he stopped moving. Completely stopped. And without standing up, without shifting his shoulders, he turned his head toward me. His eyes were wide, too wide, like he hadn't blinked in hours. No smile, no question, just this blank, exhausted stare. A cold feeling crawled up my spine. Every instinct told me to leave. I took a step back. That's when he stood up. Not slowly, not normally, but in one sharp, unnatural motion, like his body skipped a frame. And then he started walking toward me. Not fast, not slow, just steady, purposeful, silent. I kept backing up until I hit the railing behind me. My hands started sweating. He didn't blink, didn't speak, didn't break eye contact. Then my teacher's voice echoed from the floor below. "Where are you? Come down here." And the man froze, like someone pulled his plug. For a full second he didn't move. Then he slowly stepped backward, fading into the dark between 2 shelves. I swear he didn't turn around. He just slipped away like he'd never been solid in the first place. I ran downstairs so fast my shoes slid on the marble floor. My teacher scolded me, but I didn't argue. I couldn't. I felt like if I said anything about what I saw, I'd somehow drag that thing's attention back to me. When we finally left the library, I made the mistake of glancing up at the top floor. Everything looked empty, so silent. But for one moment, just one, a head leaned slightly over the railing. Not a full person, just the top half of a face, watching us leave. And the part that still gets me? It wasn't watching my class, it was watching me. This happened to my older brother's class when he was in 9th grade. They were going on a field trip to a wildlife center 2 towns over. 2 buses were assigned, Bus A and Bus B. Bus B arrived normally. Bus A did not. The driver of Bus A looked wrong from the moment he stepped out. No uniform, no company badge, a faded jacket and a cap pulled low over his face. He didn't greet the teachers, didn't check the attendance list, just stood silently gripping the steering wheel. One teacher hesitated. "Are you from Northern Star Transportation?" The man didn't answer, but because the schedule was tight, they boarded anyway. The road out of town was normal at first, sunny, smooth highway. Then the driver missed the exit. "Sir, the wildlife center was back there," a teacher said. No response. The bus kept going, and going, and going. Soon there were no houses, no cars, just thick trees swallowing the road. The children started whispering. The teachers grew tense. My brother said one teacher quietly dialed the bus company, but there was no signal. Finally, after almost 20 minutes of silent driving, the bus slowed. They had reached an abandoned campground. Rusty swings, burned picnic tables, old cabins collapsing. The bus driver stood up. His head stayed lowered. Then he slowly lifted his face, and his skin was pale gray, almost ashy. His eyes were sunken, bloodshot, unfocused. "There's something I want to show the kids," he said, voice raspy like he hadn't spoken in years. Before he could take a step, another bus horn blared behind them. The real Bus A had arrived. Traffic had delayed them. The real driver, wearing the proper uniform, ran toward them shouting, "Get off that bus." The fake driver bolted through the emergency exit door and sprinted into the woods with impossible speed, almost animal-like. Teachers screamed for students to get off. Some kids began crying. Police were called. They searched the woods for hours but found no footprints. No physical evidence. Nothing. The transportation company insisted no substitute driver had been assigned. Security footage later reviewed by the school showed something even worse. The students boarding the bus. The teachers boarding the bus. The doors closing. But the driver's seat? Empty. The bus pulled out of the lot with no visible driver at all. To this day, nobody knows what the children encountered. Human? Not human? Something pretending to be? My brother still dreams about that gray-faced man whispering, "There's something I want to show the kids." If that made the hairs on your neck stand up, don't forget to like and subscribe to Noctis Vault. Comment below what you would do if you were on that bus. I read every single one. And remember, sometimes the things you see aren't gone when you walk away. They're just waiting.